Gail Offergan. I'm the director of the Baylor Parent Engagement Office. And my story is this: I raised 2 daughters in Massachusetts. So for those of you who are sending your child halfway across the country, I know what the feeling is like. And I ended up moving here before they graduated and then started working for Baylor. So the 2 things that I like to share that I wish I would have known about Baylor that might put you at ease knowing this now is that, number 1, my daughters were both very well prepared for their careers. Obviously that's why they're here. You know, we want them to get a great education and be prepared for their future in their life. But they were very well prepared for their careers, in hindsight. Number 2, now that I work inside Baylor, you really need to know and appreciate that faculty and staff, their desire is to truly see your child graduate successfully. So we've been in meetings when we pray for the students. Professors will provide information like, I'm concerned about this student, or they go the extra mile to help them get a job, or whatever it may be. That is really the heart of all of the people that I work with here. So it's really reassuring to me after the fact and hopefully to you before. So I'm going to introduce you to our office. Sarah?
Hello, I am Sarah Lynch, and I am a parent engagement specialist for our office. I came to Baylor back in 2014 as an undergrad, and by my senior year, I was just not ready to leave. So, to my parents' surprise, back in California, I decided to stay in Waco, Texas. And so, I searched high and low for a job and was just lucky enough to find one with Gail in the parent engagement office. And now I get to share my own experience as a student with you all, as your own student spends hopefully the best 4 years of their life here at Baylor.
And I also like to say Sarah was very well prepared for her career too, so we're very thankful about that. And our office is one of the few universities that has a parent office that is dedicated solely to you, the parents. So we're your on-campus liaison or connection. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us and we'll help direct you. The person who heads up our whole parent engagement office is Molly Ferguson. She's the senior director and she's back there in the corner. Wait, Molly. And so she oversees what we do, and then she also heads up parent philanthropy. We also have an assistant director who lives in Houston actually, and she works with Molly on parent philanthropy. So let's kind of try to review. I know you've been given tons of information over the last 2 days, but we're going to try to give you a picture of what we talk to parents about. How do we help you? What are some of the things that you may have to contact us about? So let's talk about your student today. They're all top students or they wouldn't be here at Baylor, number 1. They've probably been very involved in various things of life and been very, very busy, and they've been able to multitask because you're there to help them, right? Well, is everything going to stay like that forever? They probably haven't had too many challenges with academics, right? Because they're so bright. So now let's look at what's going to take place very shortly. So I want you to imagine, you can close your eyes if you want, imagine yourself moving to a new city. And you're moving into a new home that's about 12 feet by 12 feet. You're going to live with somebody you've never known or met before in person. You have no friends. So you're in this new city with no friends, living with someone you don't know. You're about to start a new job that's going to be the hardest job you've experienced in your life so far. And this job does not allow for sick time. And you don't have your multitask assistant living with you to help regulate everything. And so at some point, they're going to feel like they need to explode because this is also new for them. So there are 3 areas that we like to talk about that you can help your students succeed to navigate some of these new things that they're experiencing. And those, we're going to talk about those 3 areas, and these are the 3 areas we get the most phone calls about. They usually start coming in about 3 weeks into the semester. And so the overall message is it's all about balance. So we'll talk about the main one is academics. So I want you to think about if my student calls me and says, oh my gosh, I bombed 3 tests this week. Think about in advance, how are you going to handle that? What is the best way to help them deal with this new situation they've never had to? So you can ask them, we're going to talk about time management, but you can ask them, have you completed your time management schedule yet? Are you attending class? Have you gone to your professor? Do you know your professor, and are you going for extra help? And have you been to the Success Center? Because after they vent, their feelings about that situation, now they need to have an action plan, so you're going to help them get on task for that. So the time management schedule, I would guess most of the calls I get about academic struggles is because the students do not have a developed time management ability. They haven't had to until this point in their life. And so we have a wonderful resource here where they can help your son or daughter set up a time management schedule. This QR code you're looking at, we interviewed Trish Baum, who heads up that program here, and we have a podcast. It's about 20 minutes long. She walks you through the whole process. I suggest that you sit down and watch that with your student. They'll be able to plug in their classes before they even get to campus, and after the first week of class, they'll be able to plug in all of their tests, all of their projects, if they need additional help, because they need to plug in social time, laundry time, exercise time, all the other things, so that they're not all of a sudden 3 or 4 or 5 weeks into school and they haven't kept up with what they need to do every week for every class. If they need extra help, they can go meet in her department and somebody will help them. But I think it's about 20 minutes that's very worthwhile for you. So that's the academic side. That's what people call us about. Second is the mental and physical side.
All right, so you have been telling your student all their life you need to make sure that you are okay mentally and that you're handling your stress well and that you're also being physical and making sure you're getting exercise, eating well, things like that. So if your student is struggling mentally or physically, you need to make sure that you ask them these questions. Jen and Megan did a great job talking about appropriate sleep. So that sleep schedule and that 8 hours is really important. So make sure your student knows that they shouldn't be taking naps throughout the day, because if they are, likely they're not going to be getting that 8 hours of sleep at night. Are they staying active? Are they getting up and moving around? Many of your students have been involved with sports or band or some sort of physical activity. They need to make sure that they continue that. And also it's great in between subjects to just, when you're studying and switching subjects, to get up and move around, because it recharges your brain and allows you to focus better when you move on to that next subject. Also, what kind of choices are you making at the dining hall? I'm sure all of you have seen that there's both healthy and unhealthy options at the dining hall. And when you're a student and you get to see that freedom, mom's not cooking for you anymore, sometimes it's easy to make the unhealthy decisions. So make sure that they're getting 2 healthy meals per day. In addition, is there someone that they can go to on campus for help? It's great that you're just a phone call away, but it's great to be able to see someone in person and to be able to discuss things with them face to face. Ultimately, you do know your student better than anyone, so if you do get a call from them, just knowing whether they need help or if they just need to vent is very important, because sometimes you may just need to be the person that they can talk to. Other times you may need to come down here and actually help them. So set boundaries now that kind of shows which one of those it's going to be.
Okay, so we talked about academic and mental physical. The third one is social. So we all know that this generation, right, is the first generation raised with the internet. So they are used to an instant gratification life. They can text their parents right away and get an answer. They can post pictures and get likes. They can order on Amazon Prime and get things delivered overnight. They can drive through tons of restaurants and get food right away. So they're used to having everything set quickly. Likewise, they expect to move to Waco, have all their friend group in a very fast time, and that is not the truth. It can take a semester or up to a year for them to really find the organizations they're interested in, to find the friends that they want to hang out with the next 4 years. So I have had parents call me and say, oh, my daughter said everybody has their friends and they don't have any friends and they want to come home. And I said, it's been 7 days. And that is the truth. I've had those phone calls. So you need to really prepare your students. Like, it's going to take a while for you to get settled in your social life. And so if they're down about it, well, what is your action plan here? How many organizations have you gone to? Have you opened your door? An upperclassman would stand here today and say, Open your dorm room door and just go greet people. I met my best friend by doing that. It was awkward, but everybody feels awkward. Tell them those things now, like a drip campaign, so that when they get here and you have to remind them, they'll know it already. That's very important. And then plugged into organizations. Student Activities has over 300 organizations and people that can help them find something that's right for them. And then the Waco community, there's lots of churches they can get involved in. There's support for carpooling to get to those churches. So they have plenty of things to pick from. So again, the 3 areas that we get our calls about all the time are academic, mental, physical, and social. So if you have that in your head, you'll be ready to talk about it. So now let's talk about you. Balance is important for you too. As Megan and Jim talked about, there's changes coming. But what do we find that's successful for parents? Statistics show that if you are connected to the university in some way, your student will be more successful. And so we provide programs to you in your hometown. So we're your on-campus liaison, but we also provide programs in your hometown. Our most prolific program is our Parents in Prayer program. We have parents like yourself that volunteer to open up their homes 1 hour per month, where they get together and pray for each other's students, and pray for Baylor. Parents report that it is the most valuable thing that they've done over the 4 years. They just need that support by people who also understand Baylor. They also will have packaging parties through this. So once or twice a semester, you all gather together, share goodies, and send packages off to your students. Students, of course, love that. They get together for watch parties or whatever it may be. So we suggest that you get involved and try some of those in your area. If you don't have one, you'll get invitations. But if you don't have one in your area, you can talk to us about running one. It's not a huge time commitment and very rewarding.
All right, so on that note, we also have Baylor Sendoff parties. Who has heard of a Baylor Sendoff party? Just a few of you. Well, everyone's going to know about them by the end of the summer. But essentially, these same hosts open up their homes throughout the summer to introduce you, the incoming Baylor family, to the Baylor family back home. So these are located all around the country, and you may think, well, no one's coming from my area. I'll say, in my hometown of Orange County, we had 120 people show up last summer. So people do show up, and we want you to meet other parents, and we want your students to have friends before they hit campus. In addition, parents often ask us, well, how else can I get involved? How else can I support Baylor? There's 3 ways that each of you may consider depending on what's the right fit for you. So first thing is to pray. Pray for our leadership team, our students, our faculty and staff, and for our families. This is really important. You guys all need all the support that you can get. We also would love for you to advocate for Baylor in your hometowns. Baylor is doing some pretty incredible things right now, and your student is about to be a part of it. And you know, Waco is really up and coming, and your student gets to make a mark on that, and that's not something that everyone can say. Also, if you feel led, we would love for you to give. You can do this through purchasing a Baylor family t-shirt. So each year we do design these t-shirts for our incoming families, and your purchase actually goes toward the Baylor Parent Fund. Students do get impacted by this fund on a daily basis. So in the past, our fund has supported a fully technologically integrated sports kind of fitness court, yeah. And it is able to talk to apps on their phone, and so they can work out outside, and it will give them workouts, which is great. We've also purchased movable furniture in the libraries that promotes studying and group studying specifically. And then we've also updated exam rooms in the health center. So it really is important, and it's a great way for you to get involved. But most importantly, you get to wear these on move-in day, and you'll see parents around Waco and just know that you have Baylor family in it with you, which is really special. So we would love for you to get involved and to purchase one of these shirts. So
it was really fun the first year that we did the shirts, because people were posting all over Facebook like, oh, we were in Target and we talked in the parking lot to some people in their shirt, went and had dinner with them and made some new friends, all because of our Baylor family shirt. And we'll talk about this in a little bit too, but at move-in, the faculty and staff all wear a distinctive shirt. and then the parents will wear their distinctive shirt. So that's part of the fun.
Yes. So if you can't tell by now, we want you to be connected as a parent. So we are on all of these social media platforms. An easy way to find us is just at Baylor Parents. And we do post unique content on a daily basis to all of these platforms. So it will align with what your student is doing, or maybe even you as a parent are feeling. And so sometimes we just have Gail hop on to say a little prayer for you guys. And it's really special because you feel like you're sitting right in our office with us, but you could be 1,000 miles away. This is probably the most important one of those platforms, and this is the parent portal. So please scan this. We want you to sign up for your parent portal. It will be your lifeline throughout the next 4 years. We do have event registrations on the portal and so much more, which I will get into in a second. I will let you guys get all of this really quickly, and we will have it up again later. So some of our favorite things on the portal are as follows. Like I said, we do have event registration for those lovely events that we talked about, but we also have this parents book. We do create a parent book every year that condenses our website into about 20 pages, and you can just flip to the appropriate tab and find phone numbers, email addresses super easily, and it's really easy because everything is hyperlinked, so you don't even have to type it in yourself. In addition, one thing that I want to point out to you guys is this class of 2025 parent checklist. We hope all of you will click on that. It is the first post on your parent portal, and it's basically what you need to be doing from now until move-in. So it's really important that you follow along.
Okay, so again, the formula is balance, right? Academic, physical, and social balance, and then get connected to Baylor. You'll have better conversations with your students if you kind of know what some of these things are. And we're here to help you in the coming semester or the next 4 years. If you have any questions about anything, that's what we're there for. And we'll help you figure out a plan of action if you need help with that. There are our numbers on the screen. And we look forward to getting to know you over the next 4 years.